The wind howled across the Han River Bridge, cutting through Eva's thin dress like 1,000 tiny knives. She didn't feel it. She didn't feel anything anymore. Her bare feet stood on the cold metal railing, toes curled over the edge. Below, the dark water churned and twisted, hungry and waiting. The city lights reflected off its surface like broken stars, beautiful and unreachable, just like the life she'd once imagined for herself. One step, she thought. Just one step and all this pain stops. No more crying herself to sleep. No more flinching at raised voices. No more wondering why she wasn't enough. No more Blake. The name alone made her chest crack open all over again. Blake, her first love, her everything. The man who'd promised her the world and then systematically destroyed hers. Fresh tears streamed down her face, joining the ones that had been falling for the past hour. She closed her eyes. "I'm sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry." Eva leaned forward, and then a hand, strong, warm, absolutely certain, locked around her wrist and yanked her backward. She stumbled, falling hard against a solid chest. Arms wrapped around her waist, holding her so tightly she couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't finish what she'd come here to do. "Let me go," Eva screamed, thrashing wildly. "Let me go. Please. Just let me." "No." The voice was deep, calm, immovable. A man's voice, speaking close to her ear. "I'm not letting you go. You don't understand. You don't. I need to. I understand more than you think." He held her through her struggles, never loosening his grip. "And I'm still not letting you go." Eva fought him, clawed at his arms, kicked, screamed until her throat burned. He didn't flinch, didn't loosen his hold, just kept her anchored to the bridge, to life, to a world she desperately wanted to escape. Finally, her energy drained, Eva collapsed against him, sobbing so hard her entire body shook. "That's it," he murmured. "Let it out. I've got you." "Why?" she gasped between sobs. "Why did you stop me? You should have just let me." "Because your life matters. Simple. Definitive. Whatever brought you here, whatever pain you're carrying, it's not bigger than your worth." Eva shook her head violently. "You don't know what I've been through. You don't know." "Then tell me." Something in his voice made her pause. Not pity, not judgment, just genuine care from a complete stranger. Slowly, carefully, he turned her around to face him. Eva's breath caught. Even through her tears, even in her broken state, she could see he was devastatingly handsome. Sharp features, intense dark eyes that seemed to see straight through her defenses, and an expression of such fierce protectiveness that it made her chest ache. "My name is Ethan," he said gently, "and I'm not leaving you alone tonight. So you have two choices. You can tell me what happened, or we can sit here in silence until sunrise. Either way, I'm staying." Eva stared at him. This stranger, this man who'd appeared out of nowhere and stopped her from ending everything. "Why do you care?" she whispered. "Because someone once stopped me from making the same choice." His eyes held hers. "And I'm grateful every day that they did." Something in Eva's chest cracked open, not with pain this time, but with something else. Something that felt almost like hope. She shouldn't trust him, shouldn't tell him anything. But standing on that bridge, with his coat now wrapped around her shoulders and his steady presence the only thing keeping her from falling apart completely, Eva found herself speaking. His name was Blake. They sat on a bench near the bridge. Ethan had gently guided her there, never once letting go of her hand, as if afraid she'd bolt back to the railing the moment he released her. Eva clutched a cup of hot coffee he'd gotten from a nearby 24-hour convenience store. She didn't remember him leaving to get it. Didn't remember much except the feeling of his arms around her, holding her together when she was falling apart. "Blake was my first boyfriend." Eva began, voice hoarse from crying. "We met 2 years ago. He was charming, handsome, said all the right things." She laughed bitterly. "I thought I was the luckiest girl in the world." Ethan listened silently, his expression unreadable, but his attention completely focused on her. "The first time he hit me was 6 months in." Eva's hands trembled around the cup. "We were at a restaurant. I'd smiled at the waiter when he took our order. Blake said I was flirting, said I was embarrassing him. When we got to the car, She touched her cheek, remembering. He slapped me, then immediately apologized, cried, said he'd never do it again. But he did, Ethan said quietly. Over and over. The words tumbled out now, 2 years of pain finally finding voice. He'd hit me, then buy me flowers, scream at me in public, then take me to dinner, cheat on me, then swear I was the only one he loved. You caught him cheating? 3 times. Eva's voice cracked. 3 times I walked in on him with other women. And every single time when I confronted him, he made it my fault. Said I wasn't pretty enough, wasn't good enough, that I drove him to it. Then he'd beat me until I apologized for accusing him. Ethan's jaw tightened, but he remained silent, letting her continue. Tonight was the worst. Fresh tears spilled down Eva's face. I went to his apartment to surprise him. I cooked his favorite meal, dressed up, wanted to try one more time to make things work. I used my key to get in and found him. Found him in bed with my best friend, Jane. The woman I'd known since college. Eva. They laughed when they saw me. Her voice broke completely. Both of them. Blake called me pathetic. Said I was a clingy, worthless piece of trash who couldn't take a hint. Jane said she felt sorry for me. That she'd been sleeping with him for months because he needed a real woman, not a broken little girl. Ethan's hand found hers, squeezing gently. I ran out. Blake followed me into the hallway. In front of all his neighbors, he grabbed me by my hair and threw me against the wall. Called me every horrible name you can imagine. Said I was nothing. That I'd always be nothing. That I should just disappear because no one would even notice I was gone. That's when you came to the bridge, Ethan finished softly. Eva nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. For a long moment they sat in silence. Then Ethan stood, pulling Eva gently to her feet. Come with me, he said. Where? Somewhere safe. Somewhere warm. Somewhere you can sleep without fear. His eyes held hers. I'm not leaving you alone tonight, Eva. And before you worry, I have guest rooms. You'll have your own space, your own lock on the door. But I'm not letting you go back to an empty apartment to spiral alone. Okay? Eva knew she should say no. Should insist she was fine, that she could handle herself. But the truth was she couldn't. She was so tired of being alone. So tired of pretending she was strong enough to survive this. Okay, she whispered. Ethan's small smile was warm, genuine. Okay. Ethan's home wasn't what Eva expected. She'd imagined a sterile bachelor pad or maybe a sleek modern apartment. Instead, he brought her to a beautiful traditional Korean house, tucked away in a quiet neighborhood. Warm wood, soft lighting, carefully tended plants, and an atmosphere of peace that wrapped around her like a blanket. The guest room is upstairs, Ethan said, leading her through the house. Private bathroom, fresh towels, anything you need. There's a lock on the inside of the door, and I'll be downstairs if you need anything. Okay? Eva nodded numbly, following him up the stairs. The guest room was beautiful. Clean, simple, with a comfortable-looking bed and large windows overlooking a small garden. I'll leave you some clothes outside the door, Ethan continued. Something comfortable to sleep in. Take a shower, rest, and we'll talk in the morning. No pressure. No expectations. Just take care of yourself tonight. He turned to leave. Ethan, he paused at the door. Why are you being so kind to me? You don't even know me. Ethan looked back at her, expression serious. Because you deserve kindness, Eva. And because I meant what I said on the bridge, your life matters. Even if you can't see it right now, I can. And I'm going to keep reminding you until you believe it too. Then he was gone, door closing softly behind him. Eva stood alone in the guest room, Ethan's coat still wrapped around her shoulders. And for the first time in months, she felt something other than pain. She felt safe. That night, Eva took the longest shower of her life. Let the hot water wash away Blake's words. Jane's laughter, the horrible weight of the bridge. When she emerged, she found soft pajamas folded outside her door. Expensive, perfectly her size. How had he known? She climbed into bed, expecting to lie awake all night, haunted by everything that had happened. Instead, she fell asleep within minutes. And for the first time in 2 years, she didn't have nightmares. Eva woke to sunlight streaming through the windows and the smell of coffee and something delicious cooking. For a moment, she didn't remember where she was. Then it all came flooding back. The bridge, Ethan, his kindness. She sat up quickly, heart pounding. Had last night been real? Had she really almost? A soft knock interrupted her spiraling thoughts. Eva? You awake? Ethan's voice, gentle through the door. I made breakfast. No pressure to come down, but you're welcome to join me if you'd like. Eva looked down at herself. The pajamas he'd left were still clean, still decent. Her hair was probably a mess, her face puffy from crying. She should hide, should wait until she looked more presentable. But her stomach growled, and the smell of food was impossible to resist. I'll be down in a minute, she called. Take your time. Eva quickly washed her face, finger-combed her hair, and took a deep breath before heading downstairs. The kitchen was as warm and welcoming as the rest of the house. Ethan stood at the stove, dressed casually in jeans and a soft sweater, plating what looked like a full Korean breakfast spread. He looked up when she entered, and his smile was genuine. Good morning. How did you sleep? Better than I have in months, Eva admitted. Good. Sit. I made too much food, as usual. Eva sat at the table watching as he brought over plates of rice, soup, grilled fish, and various side dishes. You cooked all this? She asked, amazed. My mother taught me before she passed. Said a man should know how to feed himself and the people he cares about. Ethan settled across from her. Eat, please. You need your strength. Eva picked up her chopsticks hesitantly, then took a bite of the soup. It was delicious, warm, comforting, made with obvious care. Before she knew it, she was eating properly for the first time in days. Ethan watched her with quiet satisfaction, occasionally encouraging her to try different dishes. So, he said eventually, I want to make you an offer, and before you answer, I want you to know there's no obligation, no strings attached. You can say no, and I'll still help you however I can. Okay? Eva nodded, curious but cautious. Stay here, for a while, until you figure out what you want to do next. Ethan's expression was serious but kind. You'll have your own space, your own freedom. I work a lot, so I won't be hovering. But you'll have a safe place to heal, to think, to just be. Without fear. Without judgment. I can't. Eva started. I can't afford. I'm not asking you to pay rent, Eva. I'm offering you a place to recover. That's all. But why? You don't know me. This is insane. Maybe. Ethan smiled slightly. But I have the space. I have the resources. And you need help. It's really that simple. Nothing is that simple. This is. He leaned forward. Eva, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a perfect person. I run a business that sometimes operates in morally gray areas. But I promise you this. Under my roof, you are safe. No one will hurt you. No one will make you feel small. And you can leave whenever you want. The door is always unlocked. Eva stared at him, searching for the catch, the hidden agenda. She found nothing but sincerity. What kind of business? She asked carefully. Import-export. Some of it legal, some of it less so. I won't pretend to be a saint. But I will promise to never lie to you, never hurt you, and never make you part of anything you don't want to be part of. Eva considered this. She should be afraid, should run. But where would she go? Back to her tiny apartment where every corner reminded her of Blake? Back to a life where she had nothing and no one? Or forward, into something unknown but undeniably kinder than anything she'd experienced in years? Okay, she heard herself say. I'll stay, just for a little while. Ethan's smile was brilliant. However long you need. The first week was quiet. Ethan kept his promise. He gave Eva space. He'd leave for work early, come home late, always checking in but never pushing. How was your day? He'd ask. Quiet. Eva would reply. Good. You need quiet. He'd cook dinner. They'd eat together in comfortable silence. And then he'd disappear into his office while Eva retreated to her room. It was peaceful. Safe. Everything Blake had never been. But Eva could see Ethan watching her sometimes. Not with desire or judgment, but with concern. Like he was waiting for her to shatter. One morning over breakfast he said, I have an idea. You can say no. What kind of idea? When was the last time you did something just for yourself? Something that made you feel good? Eva thought about it. I don't remember. Exactly. Ethan pulled out his phone, scrolling through something. I have a friend who owns a salon. Best in Seoul. I'd like to send you there today. Full treatment, hair, nails, facial, whatever you want. My treat. Ethan, I can't. Yes, you can. Eva, you've been through hell. Let someone pamper you. Let yourself feel beautiful again. Eva's eyes filled with tears. I don't feel beautiful. I know. His voice was infinitely gentle. But maybe this will help you start to see what I see. What do you see? Someone incredibly strong. Someone who survived things that would have broken most people. Someone who deserves to be treasured. He stood, placing a business card on the table. Appointments at 11. Car will pick you up at 10:30. If you don't want to go, that's fine. But I hope you will. He left for work before she could protest further. Eva stared at the card. Part of her wanted to refuse. Wanted to stay hidden in the house, safe but invisible. But another part, a part that had been silent for so long, whispered. When was the last time someone cared about how you felt? At 10:30, Eva was in the car. The salon was like stepping into another world. Soft music, the smell of flowers and expensive products. Staff members who treated Eva like she was someone important instead of someone broken. Mr. Kong called ahead. The stylist, a beautiful woman named Ji-woo, said with a warm smile. He said to give you the full experience. Whatever you want, it's yours. I don't even know what I want, Eva admitted. Ji-woo studied her thoughtfully. When was the last time you felt like yourself? Eva's throat tightened. I don't remember. Then let's find her again. Together. What followed was 4 hours of pure indulgence. Ji-woo cut Eva's hair, removing the damaged ends Blake had once grabbed and pulled, reshaping it into something sleek and elegant that framed her face beautifully. She added subtle highlights that made Eva's dark skin glow. The manicurist gave her the first professional manicure of her life. Elegant nude nails that made her hands look graceful instead of broken. The facialist worked magic, erasing the evidence of too many tears, too many sleepless nights. When they finally turned her toward the mirror, Eva gasped. The woman staring back at her was beautiful. Not the broken girl Blake had torn apart. Not the desperate woman who'd stood on a bridge ready to end it all. Someone new. Someone who looked like she had worth. Oh my God! Eva whispered, touching her hair carefully. Ji-woo smiled. There she is. Welcome back. Eva cried. But this time they were good tears. When she returned to Ethan's house that evening, he was in the kitchen preparing dinner. He looked up when she entered and froze. Eva, he breathed. She stood in the doorway, suddenly self-conscious. Is it too much? I can. You look absolutely stunning. His voice was thick with emotion. How do you feel? Eva touched her hair again, still getting used to the change. I feel different. Good different. Good. Ethan crossed the kitchen, stopping just in front of her. I'm glad. You deserve to feel beautiful, Eva. Every single day. Their eyes met, and for the first time, Eva felt a flutter of something other than fear in her chest. Something warm. Something that felt almost like attraction. She pushed it down quickly. Too soon. Too complicated. But Ethan noticed. She could see it in the slight curve of his lips, the way his eyes softened. Hungry? He asked, voice gentle. Starving. Good. Because I made way too much food again. They ate dinner together, and for the first time Eva laughed. Really laughed. Ethan told her a story about a disastrous business meeting where everything that could go wrong did, acting out the various participants with exaggerated voices and expressions. Eva laughed until her sides hurt, until tears streamed down her face, until she couldn't remember the last time she'd felt this light. When she finally caught her breath, she found Ethan watching her with an expression she couldn't quite name. What? She asked, still smiling. Nothing. I just like hearing you laugh. He stood, clearing their plates. It's a good sound. That night, lying in bed, Eva realized something terrifying and wonderful. She was healing, and she was starting to fall for the man helping her do it. Absolutely not. Eva protested the next morning when Ethan announced his plan. You've already done too much. I've barely done anything, Ethan countered, car keys already in hand. And you need clothes. Real clothes. Not just the 3 outfits you've been rotating. I have clothes at my apartment, which is filled with memories of Blake. Eva, when was the last time you bought something new? Something just because you liked it? She couldn't answer. Exactly. Come on. We're going shopping. Ethan, if it makes you feel better, consider it payment. You've been keeping me company, making this big house feel less empty. Let me do this. Eva knew she should argue more, but the truth was, she was tired of wearing the same sad clothes. Tired of looking at herself and seeing Blake's taste instead of her own. Fine, she sighed, but nothing crazy expensive. Ethan's smile was pure mischief. We'll see. The shopping district was overwhelming. Ethan led her into boutique after boutique, encouraging her to try things on, nodding approvingly at some choices and making faces at others that sent her into fits of giggles. That color is perfect on you, he'd say. Or, absolutely not. You look like you're going to a funeral. Maybe I like funeral chic. Eva protested, laughing. You don't. Trust me. Try the blue one. By the 3rd store, Eva was having actual fun. She tried on a red dress that hugged her curves perfectly. When she stepped out of the dressing room, Ethan's expression shifted into something darker, more intense. That one, he said, voice slightly rough. Definitely that one. Eva blushed, suddenly aware of how he was looking at her. Not with Blake's critical gaze, cataloging her flaws, but with genuine appreciation, like he found her genuinely beautiful. You think? She asked, turning to check herself in the mirror. I know. Ethan stood, moving closer. Eva, you could wear a paper bag and be stunning. But that dress is dangerous. Dangerous how? His eyes met hers in the mirror. Because any man who sees you in it is going to fall a little bit in love with you. The air between them shifted, charged with something electric. Eva's breath caught. Ethan. Sorry. He stepped back, giving her space. Too much. I just meant, you look beautiful. Get the dress. It's expensive. Get the dress. He grinned. Consider it a gift from someone who's grateful you're still here. By the time they finished shopping, Eva had more bags than she could carry. Dresses, casual clothes, shoes, accessories. A whole new wardrobe that actually reflected who she was instead of who Blake had wanted her to be. This is insane, Eva said as they loaded everything into Ethan's car. You spent a fortune. Worth every penny. Ethan closed the trunk. Besides, I have more money than I know what to do with. Might as well spend it on someone who deserves it. You barely know me. I know enough. He opened her car door. I know you're kind. I know you're strong. I know you've survived hell and are still fighting to find yourself again. That's more than enough. Eva's eyes stung with tears. Thank you. For everything. I don't know how I'll ever repay you. You already have. Ethan's smile was soft. You're still alive. That's all the repayment I need. 2 weeks into living with Ethan, Eva's nightmares started. She'd wake up screaming, convinced Blake was standing over her, fist raised, convinced she was back on that bridge, falling into dark water. The first time it happened, Ethan was at her door within seconds. Eva? What's wrong? Are you hurt? She couldn't answer, could only sob, trembling so hard the bed shook. I'm coming in, Ethan warned, then opened the door carefully. Eva was curled in a ball, arms wrapped around herself, reliving every horrible moment. Hey, look at me. Ethan sat on the edge of the bed, hands hovering but not touching. You're safe. I promise you're safe. He's not here. No one's going to hurt you. I can't breathe. Yes, you can. Breathe with me. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. Come on, Eva. With me. He demonstrated, and slowly, shakily, Eva matched his breathing. In, hold. In, hold. Gradually, her panic subsided. That's it, Ethan murmured. You're okay. You're here. You're safe. I'm sorry, Eva gasped. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to wake you. Don't apologize. Never apologize for being human. He hesitated. Would it help if I held you? Just until you fall back asleep. Nothing more. I promise. Eva knew she should say no, should maintain boundaries, but she was so tired of being alone with her fear. Yes, she whispered. Please. Ethan moved carefully, settling beside her on top of the covers. He opened his arms, and Eva collapsed into them, pressing her face against his chest. He was warm, solid, safe. His heart beat steadily beneath her ear, grounding her. I've got you, he murmured, one hand stroking her hair gently. Sleep, Eva. I'm right here. Nothing's going to hurt you. For the first time since the bridge, Eva felt completely protected. She fell asleep in his arms. When she woke the next morning, Ethan was gone. But there was a note on her nightstand. You're stronger than you know, and you're not alone anymore. Eva clutched the note to her chest and cried. But they were healing tears. Eva had been living with Ethan for 3 weeks when her phone rang. Blake. She stared at the name on the screen, heart hammering, hands shaking. She'd blocked him. How was he calling? The phone rang and rang. Eva couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't. It stopped, then immediately started again. Eva. Ethan appeared in the doorway, coffee in hand. He took one look at her face and set the cup down. What's wrong? He's calling. Blake. I blocked him, but he's... The phone rang again. Ethan crossed the room in 3 strides, took the phone from her trembling hands, and answered it. Whoever this is, you have 3 seconds to explain why you're harassing this number before I ensure you never use a phone again. Eva couldn't hear Blake's response, but she could imagine his shock. I don't care who you are or what you want. Eva is done with you. Delete this number. Move on with your pathetic life. And if you ever contact her again, you'll regret it. Am I clear? Another pause. Then Ethan's expression went cold. I'm someone who keeps his promises. Remember that. He hung up and immediately blocked the number properly. There, he said, handing the phone back. He won't bother you again. What if he shows up? What if he? Then he'll deal with me. Ethan's voice was calm but absolutely certain. Eva, I meant what I said. You're safe here. I won't let anyone hurt you. Not him. Not anyone. Eva wanted to believe him, but she'd been terrified of Blake for so long. He's dangerous, Ethan. He's angry, and when he's angry he's nothing. Ethan's eyes were fierce. Men like him are cowards who only feel powerful when they're hurting someone weaker. But you're not weak anymore, Eva. And you're not alone. Something in his voice made Eva's chest warm. Thank you, she whispered. Always. But Blake wasn't done. 2 days later, Eva went out for the first time alone, just to a nearby cafe for coffee. She was walking back when a hand grabbed her arm and spun her around. Blake. He looked terrible, disheveled, angry, desperate. We need to talk, he growled. Eva yanked her arm free. We have nothing to talk about. The hell we don't. Who was that man on the phone? Are you sleeping with him? Is that why you won't answer my calls? It's none of your business. You're my girlfriend. I was never your girlfriend. Eva's voice rose, drawing attention from passersby. I was your punching bag, your emotional dumping ground, someone you used and abused whenever you felt like it. But I'm done, Blake. We're done. His expression twisted. You ungrateful little. He raised his hand. Eva flinched automatically, old fear spiking. But the blow never came. A strong hand caught Blake's wrist mid-swing. Ethan. He'd appeared like a storm, fury radiating from every line of his body. Touch her? Ethan said quietly, voice deadly calm. And I will break every bone in your hand. Blake paled. Who the hell are you? Someone who values her more in 3 weeks than you did in 2 years. Ethan twisted Blake's wrist just enough to cause pain. Now, you're going to apologize to Eva. Then you're going to leave. And you're never going to contact her, look at her, or breathe in her direction ever again. Understand? You can't. Ethan twisted harder. Blake yelped. I said, do you understand? Yes. Yes, fine. Ethan released him with a look of disgust. Then do it. Blake looked at Eva, hate and humiliation warring in his expression. I'm sorry. For what? Ethan prompted. For everything. Good. Ethan stepped between them, blocking Blake from Eva entirely. Now disappear. And if I ever see you near her again, you'll regret it. Blake fled. Eva stood frozen, adrenaline coursing through her system. Then Ethan turned, and his expression shifted from cold fury to concerned gentleness. Are you okay? Did he hurt you? No, you came, how did you? I was worried. Followed you to make sure you were safe. He touched her face carefully. I'm sorry. I should have told you I was nearby, but I didn't want you to feel smothered. You saved me. Again. Always. His thumb brushed her cheek. Eva, you never have to be afraid of him again. I promise you that. And standing there, with Ethan's hand gentle on her face and his eyes full of fierce protection, Eva realized something. She was falling in love with him. That night, Eva couldn't sleep. She kept replaying the confrontation with Blake. The fear, the anger, the way Ethan had appeared like an avenging angel. The way he'd looked at her afterward, like she was precious. Around midnight, she gave up on sleep and headed to the bathroom for a shower, hoping hot water would ease her tension. She'd been under the spray for maybe 5 minutes when she heard a crash from downstairs. Her heart stopped. Blake. He came back. Eva's hands shook as she turned off the water, wrapped herself in a towel, and crept to the bathroom door. Another crash. Then Ethan's voice, cursing in Korean. Relief flooded through her. Not Blake. Just Ethan, probably doing something in the kitchen. Eva opened the bathroom door and collided directly with Ethan, who was apparently heading upstairs to check on the noise she'd made. They crashed together. Eva's towel slipped. Ethan's hands automatically went to her waist to steady her. And suddenly they were pressed together. Eva barely covered. Ethan's eyes going dark as he realized the situation. Sorry. I heard a crash and thought. Eva stammered. I dropped a pan in the kitchen. I was coming up to make sure you were okay. His voice was rough. They should step apart. Should absolutely not be standing this close. Her skin still wet from the shower. His hands warm on her waist. Awareness crackling between them like electricity. Ethan. Eva breathed. I should go, he said, but neither of them moved. You're always saving me, Eva whispered. Because you're worth saving. Why? Why me? I'm broken, damaged, a mess. You're beautiful. His hands tightened slightly on her waist. You're strong and kind and brave, and every day you're here, you make this house feel like a home instead of just a place I sleep. Eva's breath caught. Ethan, I'm falling for you. The confession escaped him like he couldn't hold it back anymore. I have been since the bridge. And I know it's too soon. I know you're still healing. But I need you to know. You're not alone in whatever this is. Eva's heart pounded. She should be afraid. Should pull away. Instead, she found herself leaning closer. I'm falling for you too, she whispered. Ethan's eyes widened. Eva. She kissed him. Soft at first. Tentative. Testing. He froze for half a second, then responded gentle, careful, asking permission with every movement. His lips were warm, soft, nothing like Blake's demanding, aggressive kisses. This was tender, patient, like he had all the time in the world and wanted to savor every second. Eva's towel slipped a little more. She gasped against his mouth. Ethan immediately pulled back, breathing hard. We should stop. Why? Eva's voice came out breathless. Because you're vulnerable, and I don't want to take advantage. You're not. She touched his face. Ethan, for the first time in 2 years, I'm choosing something for myself. I'm choosing you. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Something shifted in his expression. Restraint breaking, desire flooding in. Then let me take care of you, he murmured. Properly. He lifted her easily, carrying her to his room. Not the guest room, but his actual bedroom. It was the first time Eva had been inside. Dark, masculine, but warm. Comfortable. He set her down gently on the bed. If you want to stop at any point, he began. I won't want to stop, Eva interrupted. Because you're not him. You're nothing like him. Ethan's expression softened. No, I'm not. He kissed her again, deeper this time. His hands moved carefully, reverently, learning the shape of her. Eva had been touched before, but never like this. Never with such care, such attention, such obvious desire combined with respect. When her towel finally fell away completely, Ethan pulled back to look at her. "Beautiful," he breathed. "You're absolutely beautiful." Eva believed him. For the first time in so long, she actually believed she was worth looking at, worth wanting, worth treasuring. Eva woke wrapped in Ethan's arms, sunshine streaming through the windows. For a moment, panic spiked. She'd been intimate with a man. She'd let herself be vulnerable. Then Ethan's arms tightened slightly, and he mumbled sleepily, "Stop overthinking. I can hear your brain working." Eva laughed despite herself. "How did you know?" "Because I know you." He kissed the top of her head. "And I know you're probably spiraling right now, wondering if last night was a mistake. Was it?" "Not even a little bit." He pulled back to look at her. "Eva, last night was... I don't have words for what last night was. But if you regret it, we can pretend it never happened. We can go back to just..." "I don't regret it," Eva interrupted. I'm not used to feeling this happy. It scares me." "That's okay. Happiness is scary when you've been hurt for so long." He touched her face gently. "But I promise, I'm not going anywhere. This isn't a one-time thing for me. If you'll have me, I'm yours. For as long as you want me." Eva's eyes filled with tears. "I want you. So much." "Good." His smile was brilliant. "Because I'm completely, ridiculously in love with you. Already. Probably have been since you yelled at me on the bridge for stopping you. You were fierce even then." Eva laughed through her tears. "That's a terrible first meeting story. It's our story, and I wouldn't change a single thing about it." They stayed in bed for another hour, talking, laughing, wrapped up in each other. Eventually, Ethan's stomach growled loudly. "I should feed you," he said. "You always want to feed me," Eva teased. "Because you barely ate for the first week you were here. Now I have a complex about making sure you're properly nourished." They made breakfast together, bumping hips, stealing kisses, acting like teenagers instead of adults who'd been through hell. Felt perfect. Over the next 2 months, Eva and Ethan built something beautiful. He encouraged her to find work she loved. She started doing freelance graphic design, something she'd always dreamed of but Blake had told her was stupid. "This is incredible," Ethan said, looking at her portfolio. "Eva, you're genuinely talented. You have to say that. You're dating me." "I absolutely don't have to say anything. I'm saying it because it's true." He kissed her forehead. "You should start your own business." "I can't afford." "I can. Let me invest. Not as your boyfriend, but as someone who sees a smart business opportunity." Eva wanted to argue, but the truth was she wanted this, wanted to build something of her own. "Okay," she said, "but I'm paying you back. Whatever makes you comfortable." She started making friends too. Real friends, not people who'd betray her like Sarah. Women from her yoga class, neighbors, other freelance designers. Ethan never questioned where she was going or who she was seeing. Never demanded her time or made her feel guilty for having a life outside their relationship. "You trust me that much?" Eva asked one night. "Completely." He looked up from his work. "Eva, I don't need to control you to keep you. I just need to love you well enough that you choose to stay. What if I want to go out with friends and don't come home until late? Then I'll make sure you have cab money and ask you to text me when you get there so I know you're safe. Not because I'm controlling you, but because I care. What if I want to visit my mom back home for a week? Then I'll drive you to the airport, miss you terribly, and pick you up when you come back." He smiled. "Eva, you're not my prisoner. You're my partner. I want you to have a full, happy life. If I'm part of that life, I'm grateful. But I never want you to feel trapped again." Eva climbed into his lap, kissing him soundly. "I love you. I love you too." 3 months in, Eva was having coffee with her new friend Navi when Jane walked into the cafe. Eva froze. Jane saw her, and her expression twisted into something ugly. Well, Jane said loudly, approaching their table. "Look who's out and about. I thought you'd have disappeared by now." "Jane, please don't." Eva started. Don't what? Don't mention how you threw a tantrum over Blake and me? Don't talk about how pathetic you looked. Jane's voice carried through the cafe. You're embarrassing, Eva. You always have been. Navi stood up. Excuse me, but you need to leave. Who the hell are you? Someone who actually cares about Eva. Unlike you. Jane laughed mockingly. Oh please. Eva doesn't have real friends. She's too damaged, too clingy too strong to waste time on people like you. Eva interrupted, standing. Jane's eyes widened. Eva took a deep breath. This was it. The moment to reclaim her power. You're right about one thing, Jane. I was pathetic. I let Blake treat me like garbage. I let you betray me without consequences. I almost ended my life because I believed people like you when you said I was worthless. Eva's voice grew stronger. But I'm not that person anymore. Oh. So you found some guy to take care of you and suddenly you think you're... I found someone who treats me with respect, who believes in me, who doesn't need to tear me down to feel powerful. Eva stepped closer. And more importantly, I found myself again. The version of me that existed before Blake broke her. You'll go back to him, Jane said viciously. You always do. No, I won't. Because I finally understand something. The problem was never me. It was him. And you. And anyone else who thought I deserved to be hurt. Eva picked up her bag. I forgive you, Jane. Not because you deserve it, but because holding on to this anger isn't worth my energy anymore. I have an actual life now, and you're not part of it. She walked out of the cafe, Navi following, leaving Jane speechless behind them. Outside, Eva's hands shook. That was incredible, Navi said. How do you feel? Free. Eva breathed. I feel free. She called Ethan immediately. I confronted Jane, she said when he answered. How did it go? I was strong. I was powerful. Her voice broke. I was everything you always said I was. I'm so proud of you, Ethan said, voice thick with emotion. Come home. Let me celebrate you properly. I'm on my way. When Eva got home, Ethan was waiting with flowers, champagne, and the biggest smile she'd ever seen. My fierce woman, he said, pulling her into his arms. I'm so damn proud of you. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. I just reminded you of what was already there. He kissed her deeply. You saved yourself, Eva. I just held your hand while you did it. 6 months after the bridge, Eva's life was unrecognizable. She had a thriving graphic design business, real friends, a relationship built on trust and respect. And most importantly, she had herself back. One evening, Ethan took her to the same bridge where they'd met. Why are we here? Eva asked, confused. Because this is where your life changed, Ethan said. And I want to change it again, in a different way. He pulled out a small box. Eva's breath caught. Eva Washington, Ethan began, dropping to one knee. 6 months ago, I stopped you from ending your life. I had no idea that in saving you, you'd save me too. You brought light into my world, joy into my days, purpose beyond just existing. Tears streamed down Eva's face. You're the strongest, kindest, most beautiful person I've ever met. And I want to spend the rest of my life making sure you never forget that. He opened the box, revealing a stunning ring. Will you marry me? Yes. Eva sobbed. Yes, yes, yes. Ethan stood, sliding the ring onto her finger, then kissed her with all the love he'd been building for months. Behind them, the city lights sparkled. The same lights Eva had thought she'd never see again. Now they were symbols of hope, new beginnings, second chances. I love you, she whispered against his lips. I love you too. Always. 1 year later. Eva stood in their new home's nursery, hand on her swollen belly, looking at the 2 cribs Ethan had just finished assembling. Twins, she said softly. I still can't believe we're having twins. Ethan wrapped his arms around her from behind, hands settling over hers on her belly. A boy and a girl. Perfect. What if I'm not ready? What if I don't know how to? You'll be an amazing mother, Ethan interrupted gently. You're the strongest person I know, Eva. You survived hell and built heaven out of the ashes. You can absolutely handle two tiny humans. Eva leaned back against him. Remember when we met? On the bridge? How could I forget? I thought my life was over. I thought I had nothing worth living for. And now? Eva looked around the nursery. Soft colors, handmade decorations. Love poured into every detail. Now I have everything, she whispered. A husband who treats me like a treasure. Babies on the way. Career I love. Friends who actually care about me. Myself back. Ethan turned her gently to face him. I'm so glad I was there that night. Me too. Eva touched his face. You saved me, Ethan. In every way a person can be saved. We saved each other, he corrected. You reminded me what love should look like. How to be gentle. How to care for someone properly. One of the babies kicked and they both laughed. They're impatient to meet you, Eva said. Can you blame them? You're pretty amazing. Stop making me cry. I'm hormonal enough as it is. Ethan kissed her softly. I'll never stop. I'm going to spend the rest of our lives reminding you how incredible you are. Even when I'm huge and cranky and haven't slept in days? Especially then. 2 years later, Eva stood on that same bridge again. But this time she wasn't alone. Ethan stood beside her, holding their daughter. Eva held their son. You know, Eva said, looking out over the water. If someone had told me that night that this is where I'd be 2 years later, I never would have believed them. What would you have believed? That I'd be dead. Or at best, still stuck in a cycle of abuse, thinking I deserved it. Ethan's hand found hers. I'm so glad you were wrong. Me too. Eva looked down at her son, sleeping peacefully in her arms. These two are going to grow up knowing they're loved, knowing they're worthy, knowing what a healthy relationship looks like. Because of you, Ethan said. Because of us. They stood there as the sun set, the bridge that had almost been Eva's ending now a symbol of her beginning. A beginning filled with love, healing, family, and hope. Eva had learned something crucial in her journey from that dark night to this beautiful moment. Sometimes the worst moments of your life lead to the best. Sometimes strangers become saviors. Sometimes endings are actually beginnings in disguise. And sometimes, when you're ready to give up, life sends you exactly what you need, in the form of a man on a bridge who refuses to let you fall. Thank you, Eva whispered, though she wasn't sure if she was talking to Ethan, the universe, or herself. Maybe all three. For what? Ethan asked. For pulling me back. For seeing me when I couldn't see myself. For loving me into wholeness. Always, Ethan promised. Every single day for the rest of our lives. Their daughter stirred, and Eva smiled. Let's go home, she said. Yeah, Ethan agreed. Let's go home. And together, as a family, as partners, as two people who'd found each other in the darkest moment and built something beautiful from it, they walked away from the bridge, not running from the past, but walking confidently into a future full of love, laughter, and second chances. So, what do you think happens next for Eva and Ethan? Do you believe people can really change their lives this drastically? Or is this just a beautiful fantasy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I actually read every single one, and I love hearing your perspectives on these stories. And hey, if Eva's journey resonated with you at all, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find these stories, and you never know who might need to hear a message of hope today. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, come on, what are you waiting for? We've got tons more stories about love, redemption, and second chances. New uploads every week. Thanks for listening all the way through. Seriously, see you in the next one.